Okay, guys, welcome to the first lesson of Photoshop CC, okay, part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be covering in this video, I'm basically just going to tell you what we're going to be covering in the Photoshop program, okay? So there's a collection of videos that I have made that explain Photoshop in depth, in detail, but keep in mind this is going to be a beginner level for the first several videos. If you follow the blog, there are multiple different things that I cover in Photoshop if you're a little bit more advanced, or if you finish this course and think, hey, I'd like to learn some more stuff, there are plenty of things that we can do that are advanced. But for the most part, this is going to be learning Photoshop CC from the beginning. So let's just go over what I'm going to be teaching you, okay? Something to be aware of is that Photoshop is really just one of three important programs, okay? When we're working with Photoshop, you have to keep in mind that we have the Photoshop CC program, and then we have what's called Adobe Bridge, and then we have another program called Camera Raw, all right? And these three programs work pretty closely together to make photos look good, to be able to do full editing, and to stay organized when we're doing our photography and our editing. Okay, so let's just talk about these real quick. So this is Adobe Bridge, and this is what it looks like when you open it. Okay, it's very similar to the Finder on the Mac, and if you use Windows, it's the file manager. But basically, how this works is click right here onto our Mac, see kind of what we have. So this is all of the different files I have on my Mac, okay? And we're gonna look at my desktop folders. Let's go into pictures. All right, so here's just a few pictures that I have saved on my desktop in this folder. And just to give you an idea, the reason we use Adobe Bridge is because it's really good at sending files to the programs that work with that file type. So for example, here we have a JPEG, okay? And a JPEG file is a very basic raster graphic file. All right, and Photoshop works really good with raster graphics. So if I click on this photo, it's going to open up in Photoshop. See that? That's pretty neat. If we come here to our Finder, it will not do that. Okay, this will open a preview window. Okay, our Finder doesn't know to send it to Photoshop, but Bridge does, and that's what's so neat about Bridge, is it can determine what file type we have, and it will send us there. Okay, so that's one of the biggest reasons I just absolutely love Bridge, is it just knows where to send us. For example, if we're working on something like vector graphics, an AI file, we double click on it, it won't send it to Photoshop, it'll send it to Illustrator. Okay, so it's pretty neat. I highly recommend using it and getting to know it, and we will go into depth the things that you can do in Bridge, but I just want you to understand what it does and why we will be covering it. Okay, the other program we will be covering is going to be Camera Raw, and so Camera Raw is this is what it looks like. Okay, and we will be covering what it does and why we use it and why it's so important. But the important thing to note with Camera Raw is it's mainly used for raw images. Okay, so for those of you who know photography, you will know that there is raw file types. Depending on the camera you have, it'll be a different name for each raw file type, but raw file types we can edit and just make them look a little bit better in this program. before we send them to Photoshop. Okay, so we'll cover that as well. I'm just gonna do one video for Bridge, one video for Camera Raw, and then we'll do a lot of videos for Photoshop because it's a little bit more in depth, a lot more to cover in Photoshop. But this is what Photoshop looks like. Get used to this. We're gonna go over the interface and everything about it in our future videos.